This ball drilled. Robles to punch it away. Fernando Ani, save Robles early. The 18-year-old gets a shot away. Robles got a fingertip on it. Head in, save Robles again.
Well, I hope Greg Berhalter is watching.
And the man doing all of that in net joins us, Luis Robles, the goalie of the Red Bulls. Thanks so much for dropping by. How do you do that?
A little bit of luck, a little bit of training, but thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Are you part gymnast too, or what?
No, I think that's not part of it. At the end of the day, it just comes with reactions and instincts, but the last couple weeks have been good. You know, I made some saves, and more importantly, we've been winning games.
3 of your last 4 starts have been shutouts, and after a shaky start, you guys are really starting to put it together here.
Yeah, the shutout piece is really important because last year we led the league in shutouts. We had the best defense across the board, and when we started this season, things weren't really clicking. We started 1-4-2, and yet you look at our last 8 games, you look at the month of May, and it's been 6-1-1, and this last one in particular was a great performance because for 90 minutes we not only looked like us, but we were able to get the shutout and the 3 points.
So you've been with the Red Bulls since 2012. From 2012 to 2018, you started 183 consecutive games. That's an MLS record. And this is right after you thought about leaving the game. Take us through how close you were to actually hanging it up before you made all those consecutive starts.
It is crazy to think that 7 years have passed the way that it has. And yet in 2012, that summer, I very much was ready to hang up the boots. There were just certain things going on in my life at that time. My dad was sick. My father-in-law was very sick. He had stage 4 cancer. We were coming back from Germany. I started my career, my first 6 professional seasons in Germany. And as I was trying to come back to Major League Soccer so that we can be closer to family, it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy because there were certain rules of allocation that I fell into that put me in a tough spot. It wasn't if teams weren't interested, it wasn't if the league didn't want me, but for some reason, because of the rules that no longer exist, the transition was very, very difficult. And I think throughout all of that, I felt discouraged. And it wasn't as if I was playing that well. Things didn't end that well for me in Germany. So my confidence was at an all-time low. So I did want to transition and see what the next stage of my life looked like. And fortunately, my wife wouldn't let that happen. She made a deal with me. We moved back from Germany on July 4th, and she said, okay, let's give it a month. Let's see what happens. If it doesn't work out, then you have my blessing and you can move forward. And fortunately, on August 9th, after some back and forth, a little over a month later, I got drafted by the New York Red Bulls, and I've been here since.
It's amazing. You know, you used the word allocation. You know all about asset allocation because you're a financial guru. I got to tell you,
that's too generous.
Okay, I'm not real happy with my advisor. Can you give me my S&P? The whole S&P thing's not going well right now. How did this come about? Maybe you can give me some advice here.
Well, my parents, I come from a family of immigrants. So my mom's from South Korea. My dad, he got drafted into the military back in the 1950s out of Puerto Rico. And so they always put a huge priority in education. And even as I was going through the process of figuring out which university I wanted to go to, I was looking at as which team is going to give me the best chance to go pro. Not my parents. My parents were all about which school is going to give you the best chance to start your next life in whatever career you choose. And so they're actually a little disappointed when I choose to go to the University of Portland. My dad wanted me to go to West Point, follow my brother's footsteps. My mom wanted me to go to Ivy League just because that's what Koreans want to do. They want to go to Ivy League. And for me, the University of Portland was amazing because not only do they have a professional environment, but they have a rich history of transitioning college amateur athletes into the professional ranks. And so I actually committed in October of 2001. I gave them my verbal commitment. I didn't tell my parents until November. It was Thanksgiving of 2000, or I guess 6 weeks later. In the end, it took them some time to come around, but as we look back, the story has shown that it was a really good decision. While I was there, though, they made sure that I really focused on my academics. I had an opportunity in my junior year to leave early, go pro, and my parents weren't having that. They said, you got to graduate, you got to get your degree. And so when I left the University of Portland, I had a degree in finance, and that just sort of opened the door to other interests when it comes to all things related to the market.
All right, so you got a real good knowledge about the market. Shep Messing, of course, helps call your games here on our family of networks. His top 5 goalies MLS all time. He has you 5th all time. Not bad. You all right with that?
There's some pretty impressive names on that list. So I'm glad that I made it into Shep's top 5. You look at Nick Romano, we just played him this past weekend, and this guy, he spent his entire career. He has pretty much every significant goalkeeping record in Major League Soccer, so I understand why he's number 1. But with the time remaining in my career, I'd like to continue not only to climb some of those records, but Shep's own listing right there as well.
That would be pretty neat. Do you have aspirations to play nationally for the national team?
Of course, as any professional would have, they have aspirations to play at the highest level, which is international soccer and the national team. I think my age doesn't help me. As you look at the Gold Cup roster, all the goalkeepers that got called in are younger. And when you look at, or at least you take a step back and you look at the current state of the national team, that is the right call. I mean, I'm going to give everything I got to be part of that conversation, to be included. But you also want to see the younger generation really take the mantle and lead this country forward as soccer continues to develop in Major League Soccer, or as just the game in general continues to develop in this country. Major League Soccer and the national team have to take steps forward through youth movement. And I think there's no better organization to exemplify this idea of developing young players than the New York Red Bulls.
All right, now, going to the net, you got to have the gloves. We got a shot of these. Look at that. I mean, how important are the gloves to how you play?
It's just one of the tools of the trade. So Nike, I'm privately endorsed by Nike, and so I've been wearing Nike gloves now for 14 years. And they just recently came out with a new model where it's thinner, it's sleeker, there's no strap. And so the last couple of weeks I've been testing them so that I can get ready to wear them. And it's crazy when you're so used to wearing something and a certain design, when they go in a different direction and they pivot, what sort of mental effect it has on you. And so I'm not ready to make the switch yet, but when it comes to goalkeeping gloves, it's what you need to catch the ball. Of course, when I was younger, one of my goalkeeper coaches said, when you make a mistake and you don't catch the ball, don't look at the gloves. It's not the gloves' fault.
It's always a glove's fault, though,
It's
no?
the hands inside the gloves.
There you go.
So you have to develop that skill, but gloves are definitely one part of it that allows you to catch the ball better.
Now, we know you're really involved in various charities. Tell us about some of the things you've been working with.
So I think one of the coolest things about our organization in general, I think you were at that one, right? I think
I was.
MC of that.
I was in New Jersey.
Yeah, that was amazing. We had a great night. We raised a bunch of money, and over the last 2 years, our organization, or at least that event, has been able to raise about $300,000 for pediatric cancer. And as I was alluding to earlier, one of the coolest things about our organization is that we want to be part of the community. We don't just want to provide entertainment for the community. We want to be in the fabric of the community. And one way that we can do that is just interacting through community service. And so while our priority, part of our job, is to perform on the field, what that's done is it's opened up different doors for us to participate in the lives of other people. We have this great partnership with 2 hospitals in the tri-state area, and one of them is dear to my heart, Hackensack University Medical Center. All 3 of my children are born in New Jersey, but in particular, all 3 were born at Hackensack. And so what Hackensack has allowed, what they've allowed me, and through the way of the New York Red Bulls, is partner with them to raise not only funding for pediatric cancer awareness, but to visit the kids in the hospital. And I think that's just one of the coolest things about being a professional athlete, is that because of what you do, other people are giving you access to their life. And I'm hoping it's through that access that I can be a positive influence and bring some smiles to children that may be having a bad day.
All right, awesome stuff. Thanks so much for dropping by.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Luis and the Red Bulls take on Philly. You can watch it Saturday night right here on MSG at 7:30. For more great videos from the MSG 150, check out right there. And remember, our show is on Monday through Thursday, 8 to 10:30 p.m. on MSG Network and MSG Go.